folks, it's Junction City today. Craig Bielik, your host, and my other host, Farrell Lafferty. And our guest today is author Jct Francis, who you may already know, who has a new book out called Spiritual Reflections, Columns on Faith. I couldn't remember that part like that. And Farrell, you ever read a book?
Once.
Really?
Yeah.
I honestly don't believe that.
You know what? In all honesty, I have read one book.
You've read a book? Oh, wait a minute. Not the repair manual for a 1973 Bronco. That doesn't count. I mean, a book like a book with like sentences?
Yeah. It was George Carlin's book, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I read that.
Congratulations.
I mean, I'm sure I read some other books when I was in school, but...
Yeah. Well, why don't you read another book? Why don't you read Jt's book?
Janae,
tell him what your book is about first off. Maybe that'll pique his interest.
Well, so the cool thing about this book, Farrell, is you don't have to just sit and read it from cover to cover. You can just open it up and pick one little column and then just read that couple of pages.
You have to remember, Phil can't eat at a restaurant that's menu doesn't have pictures. he's never been able to do that.
At this point.
Honestly, like that. Would this book be good for Farrell?
Yes, it would be great for Farrell.
Why?
Because it talks about living a higher purpose in your life. It talks about living by good values.
By good values? Farrell?
Yeah,
Farrell's got good values. Farrell, as much as he pretends, he's actually a pretty decent guy.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I heard you talking earlier about forgiveness, right? That you learned a lot about forgiveness. And I make light of it, but I have trouble forgiving people. How do you forgive? Like someone's really just done you wrong and you just like, I'm thinking about it right now and it's irritating me.
It's making him mad. And the thing about it is, Farrell, I mean, God forgives, God forgives you for not forgiving someone who's done you wrong. But it's those petty grudges that you hold on to. You're still mad at that guy that cut you off 7 years ago on Harrison Boulevard.
Hope I don't find that guy.
Yeah, I mean, no. Janae is a better person to speak to that.
So I do have a metaphor for you.
Okay.
And it's in one of my columns. And I had been in a class for 12 weeks with other women who were like me, who were super mad. Mm-hmm. And the very last day of the class, we were given a big rock, and we all held the rock. And the counselor who was doing the class said, the thing that happened to you is just like this rock. When you first take hold of it, it's cold and foreboding. But as you hold it, it warms up, and you become comfortable carrying that rock. And so one by one, everyone in the class put their rock down. And that was the moment I realized I hadn't done any of the work for 12 weeks.
Really?
I hadn't actually done the forgiving.
Really? And so they hit you with a rock?
No.
All the people in
so
the
they
class.
all went home, and I was still sitting there with my rock.
Really?
And yeah, so my husband helped me a lot with this. So I got a special rock from the sisters at Mount Benedict.
Oh, wow.
And we had a kind of a celebration. It was on January 1st, 2011. And I picked that day because it was 1111.
Oh.
Right? And so that reminded me of God. And we took the rock and we put it in a special place. And I emotionally and physically thought of putting all of my bad attitude and my anger into that rock.
Into the rock.
And then we left it under a tree and drove away.
Really?
And it's a special tree where it's at. So when I drive by it, I can salute it.
So you still know that rock is there.
Right.
Is that story in this book?
Uh-huh.
It is.
It's in the book.
Yeah.
And for me, that was the key to forgiving because a rock is made of the earth, right? And we can put our bad feelings back into the earth.
Back into the earth. Yeah, here you go, earth. Have these bad feelings. Now they're yours.
I would have went and picked everybody's rock up. That's how much anger I'm holding inside. I went and picked everybody else's up.
Farrell looks like one of those dump trucks you see going, up to the snooty neighborhoods that are going to like put in landscape rocks, all that. That's Farrell.
There you go.
You're rolling down the road. No, that isn't true. That isn't true. He always tries to pretend to be bad. He really isn't that bad. He really isn't. What's another column in here that you think stands out? We talked about the candy cane one and the rock one. What about another one?
I'd like to talk about the first column I ever wrote because I wasn't ever assigned to be a columnist for the Standard Examiner. What happened was I was doing a project with my daughter and throughout the course of the project, I was touched by how that reminded me of our lives. So what happened was we needed a red dress and we didn't have any money. And my daughter didn't want just any red dress. She wanted a beautiful one.
Okay.
So we went on this quest to find a red dress, and we were thinking about it at the same time we were cleaning house. And we found this wedding dress in her closet that was tarnished, and
Really?
we decided to dye it red.
Really? Why did she have a wedding dress in her closet?
Actually, it was a Halloween costume.
Oh, okay. I mean,
It was a
planning for the
leftover-
future, Craig.
because, yeah, how old was she?
It was a leftover Halloween costume.
Oh, okay, leftover Halloween
Which the
costume.
column explains that.
All right, all
Right?
right.
And
Yeah,
so-
read the book. I mean, Craig.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the friend had worn it trick-or-treating, and the
Yeah.
dress had dragged along, and so there was a lot of dirt and grease on the dress.
So you did, and you guys dyed it red?
Uh-huh, we
And
dyed it
worked.
red. So what happened was when it came out, we hadn't thought about the fact that the wedding dress was dry clean only.
Oh, wow.
So when it came out, it was all wrinkled.
Yeah.
And my daughter said, "Oh, that won't do." And I said, "I think we can make it into something beautiful and keep the wrinkles." And that was when the aha moment came to me, as I realized that's how our lives are, right? We don't plan for our lives. Like you're saying, you're angry at things that people have done to you. And those are things that you didn't plan for. And they interrupted your plans. And that's why it gets to your heart, and that's why it hurts, because you had a different plan for your life.
Absolutely.
But our challenge that God gives to us is to take those things and make something beautiful out of it.
I think what you're saying is all Farrell needs is some ironing. We just need to put him on the board and press him really hard with something hot.
Actually, what I'm saying is you accept the wrinkles.
Okay.
You accept the wrinkles and you make it beautiful.
How did you guys make it beautiful? What did you do to it?
So the column outlines the whole thing of what we did, but I'd just like to read the end part. At one point,
Please do.
I
Please
went
do.
to the thrift store and I even prayed. I didn't know what to do, and I found this piece of material that I could add to the dress.
Really? Talk it.
And so this is what I wanted to leave with you is the end. And in the column I wrote, there were times when people had loved and cared for me, and times of celebration when I was on top of the world. But there were other times when I was tarnished and stained by the circumstances of life. Long before starting this project, I had experienced feelings as though everyone, including God, had given up on me. But then he sent angels to tell me I was wrong about that. Through his infinite love, he had provided a means to rid me of the sins of the world. And it seemed to be no small coincidence that the dirt and grease on the garment were covered by the color red. It was through his blood that Christ washed away my sins and pain so I could be new again. Like the dress, I had realized a new purpose, a new beginning, and I experienced a happiness available only to those willing to make a change. The dress had shown me how I had been clothed in his strength and dignity.
Wow. Wow. That's touching. Really
Thank
is.
you.
It really is. I bet there's people out there right now that are going, would you guys please get to the part to where how we can get this book? You know, how can we get this book? How can I get this book as a present for Farrell? I'm gonna wrap this and put it under his tree.
Yeah, well, it would probably actually do me some good to read it.
I think it would. I think it would. How can they get their hands on it?
So you can order a book through my website, JanaeFrancis.com,
Okay.
or you can call me, or you can go to Gallery 25 on 25th Street.
Oh yeah, yeah. Nice place too. Located there on the north side of 25th, right between Lincoln and Grant, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You spend a lot of time there?
Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, I do. Farrell, I know what a gallery is.
All right, well, I thought it was a place they kept food on a ship.
And you guys have no idea how true that really is. How true that really is. Farrell is going to make a New Year's resolution to not only read a book, he is going to read this book. That's what he's going to do.
Thank you, Farrell.
Apparently, I'm going to have to.
I'm so honored.
Isn't that great? I'm going to start making New Year's resolutions for Craig. But,
Yeah,
all right,
exactly.
I'll read Janae's book, Craig.
All right, and then if you make a resolution for me, I will do it.
All right.
Okay, whatever
I
you
gotta
think
I got to think about it.
could improve me, and I can't imagine what that would be.
Oh,
This is going to be
But there's
good.
probably got to be something out there. But anyway, we that's what we're going to do. We're going to swap New Year's resolutions. Oh my gosh, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. Our guest today, Jct Francis, author of Spiritual Reflections, a new book that will lift you, cheer you, and make you feel a whole lot better about the world, including Farrell. And she's been on Junction City today. Thank you so much. No, you close it, Farrell. You close it.
Junction City today. Thank you so much. Make sure you find Janae's book. If you see Craig out in public, go ahead and just smack him. Not hard. Just say hello.